Alright, this is going to be a video of b52 swap, 52 front leafs, everything you might need to know or want to know before you do, because it kind of gets old when you're consistently answering questions about it. And comparison to 52, closer to the cabinet, closest to us is a 48 long. When it squishes down, it's 46 long right now. 5.5 custom leaf. Both leaves are custom by me. That means I reworked both of them. Okay, they're both changed. This is going to vary on all vehicles, comparing the 52 for front suspension and flex. Okay, so here we go. We're going to get down close. Don't mind my mess, but it is what it is. Okay, first of all, okay, the 48 front leaf, this front leaf right here, is custom built by me. I'm just gonna go to the lowdown and explain it to you. Main leaf is a Skyjacker soft ride 4-inch pack. These two rusted ones right here are 52s. They're parts from that 52. This one here, the rest of the three that you see, are soft ride 4-inch pack. The pin is still in its factory location, was not drilled out. It retains way more lift than a 4-inch, and it flexes very well, and probably, if not better, if you had your shackle moved up on the frame like the way my Suburban is now. I would probably put these in something else, and that's why I'm saving that. But we're not gonna. Not yet. Next to it is pretty much the same thing that I built, but using the same parts, other than one leaf from one of the other. One is missing and the other one is using just the same leaf in the same category, but it's for this pack, but that one's removed from this pack and it's used on the other side on the 52 because it's longer. Okay, they're pretty much the same arch in radius. I can pick it up, show you. It would probably be the same without these leaves on it, and I took them apart. The main leaf would be at the same arch pretty much for lift, if you're all looking for lift. Now, some people think 52 swap is going to give you a net 4 or 5 inches of lift. That varies. And then again, if you're using your factory leaf spring hanger and not a b52 kit, take note of where the pins are. Okay, this would be factory. If you're going to use a 52 on your main front leaf spring hanger, your axle is going to be pushed back towards your firewall. Just remember that. B52 kit is a must with the 52 leaf. If you see where the eyes are lined up, and see where the pins are lined up, okay? If you use the furthermost hole on the 52, B52 kit from Kurt, okay, we'd move that forward. It'd probably be the farthest forward hole, varying which side you put the B52 kit on, because you can flip them alternate just like a shackle flip. But this is what you would be in the ballpark of. These leaf springs are set up to run 0-8s. That's why they're using bolts. That's also why the bolts are longer. Some you might notice things you might question about if you're going to ask questions, but we're not talking about these because they're just grade 5 bolts for now. Okay? For now. 0-8 goes over it. So we're not worried about the bolt. But as you can see, the pin, these are lined up. This is soft ride Skyjacker for this pack. Same as this. That one right there, this rusted one, is a 52. This is the longer one I was just explaining. That's supposed to be from this pack. Okay? It's on there because this one right here is giving this main leaf its arch because it wasn't as steep of an arch. And this main leaf 52 is out of a 3/4 ton 1977 Chevy long wheelbase truck. Okay, and it still has its tension shackle on it because the bolt literally went pound out of that bush. And I built it like literally 3 hours ago and recorded twice and had to restart because the first recording was well off. Technical note, okay, I would run longer shackles. I wouldn't run the factory shackles with any of the square bodies. I prefer the shackle up forward like the way my Suburban is right now. And yes, that leaf spring overhangs. That's how I built it. It doesn't make a difference because I could have just took the time and cut it off square. So don't ask questions like that. This is offset because they're supposed to be spaced like that. You can ask the questions why I did that, but then again, you can go look at the other videos and you will end up not even asking questions at all because it did function. So, free arch on my 5.5 inch lift. We're going to take a look at that and compare it to the 52. Okay, this varies what you want to do, and we'll get into talking about that afterwards. Okay, this is just showing you the free arch. Okay, free arch. Well, we don't know if we're level or not, so we might as well just bring it level. Okay, free arch. Free arch is just at 6, and when it squishes down, it adds up to 5.5 inches lift. Also, zero rate is an inch. Take note of that. I add the zero rate with it, plus the 5.5 inch hackles that I had that were on my truck. Okay, and that's what we're going to refer these to when we're talking about this type of system. Was a 5.5 inch shackle or a 6 inch shackle. Kurt at DIY 4x prefers a 6 inch shackle. I with the smaller of the free arch, I prefer a 5.5 inch over a 4 inch and a 6 inch. Okay, it's what keeps your caster correct. That's why I do it. It's like I literally tested this stuff multiple times. Okay, now we're doing the 52. This is 5.5 inches of lift. We might as well throw the inch, so it'd be 6, even with the 5.5 inch. And like you've seen, that's 5.5, okay, on a 52. And this is not a factory pack, okay? It's a factory main leaf, okay? This, now to help you understand this center leaf, even though it's a 52, this right here is just to keep it spaced. Okay, there's no clamp leaf on here. That one right there I would remove if I were to use this, and I would have to put the 52 clamp leaf that I cut the clamps off of back on it, and I just put this together. So one to take note is that clamp leaf's longer than this one, and that'd be the reason why it would be lined up with that one right there. Okay, both sides. Now to show you that is a 52 leaf. It's actually 51, I believe, right now. It is a 52. Alright, we'll move the heavy thing forward. Okay, nah, not gonna. Just gonna keep flipping things around. Okay. 52, obviously, it's the pin ain't lining up with it. But if you took the arch leaves off it, it would line up to 52. This one is a 5 leaf pack. I built this quickly to show that you can make a soft ride out of this. Some people that would do this 52 swap would also automatically assume whatever 52s they pulled out of something, including a Suburban, would amount to 4 inches of lift. Maybe, okay? Understand that this will close down, and then the less leaves that you have might equal more lift or more flex, but it also might squish down even further. So if I were to use this pack, what I recommend is probably a 7 leaf pack to have the correct ride height, and you might even net 6 inches of lift and get some okay flex out of it. You can't just say, oh, it's not going to work good with a bunch of leaves, because you're completely inaccurate. Wrong, because that has 6 leaves on it and that did flex. Okay, and that's a shorter leaf. Just understand what I do. I test things. Now, anytime you make a custom leaf pack, I strongly recommend a 0 rate. It just gives you that extra adjustability. You want, you know what I mean? You will just we'll do this. Okay. You'd have 1.5 inches forward, saying that's the front, or 1.5 inches backwards. Either way, okay. Strongly recommend. If you're gonna do a B52 from DIY 4x, the hangers are interchangeable from each side of the frame. 2-wheel drives, I believe you got to drill out the holes. You can see just the banging down that it's very soft. I can bang on this. It's very solid, but it does work very fucking well. I don't have to say much about that. I have pictures to prove anybody wrong that wants to question the fact about them. There's a reason why I don't use that leaf. Those leaves, because of push-pull steering. So we'll get into that after we talk about crossover steering for the B52 kit. Now, if you're not paying attention to where this is and you're running crossover steering, because you should be running crossover steering with 52 leaves in the first place, because of the flexibility, and you're building an off-road toy. You know what I mean? What are you thinking? By leaving that in the dark. Crossover steering, you're going to want to reinforce your steering box area with frame plating, frame reinforcement kit. But then take a note that your steering box, right? You're looking at my fingers, right? You're steering from your gearbox, and if you got high steer, this middle finger would be your high steer. Keep note that your steering is like that. Okay? You push that axle forward, you know what I mean? You try to steer that going forward or this going back, they just start lapping over and colliding with each other. So just remember that. So you can relocate with the 0 rate. Proper placement with the B52 kit, and that's why there's several holes for the 52 kit. Another thing that's left in the dark, what you can do, is where your steering gearbox is located at, you could always move your steering box further down on the frame, if that helps. You would need a reinforcement kit. I would probably do 2 of them, drill holes, and then that little bit of space that you're going to have between the frame from the bump outs, bolt through it and a bolt behind that, or you can weld washers on there to space that little bit of that bubble on the steering box area. I would go outside and show you, but I was out there twice and recorded this stuff with the leaf springs. And what you'd basically do is you'd bring your steering box an inch forward to give you that length. Or you could also find on your steering gearbox the drop pitman arm. If somebody makes a shorter one, like an inch shorter, that might bring it in where they're, you know what I mean, where it would, if you brought the arm over a little bit, it might help too. A lot of people are leaving that in the dark. I don't know if you can cut them down. I wouldn't suggest cutting them down and welding them either. It makes, can you weld that good? You know what I mean? That's your steering. You bump one wheel off the rock and it sends, you know what I mean, a surge into that gearbox. Rag joints do snap. So you gotta just think a tie rod will snap. A welded tie rod would probably break pretty damn easy. So that's basically me showing and explaining things to take note on a B52 swap. Yeah, you'll get flex. Drivability, maybe not so great streetable. Okay? Maybe not. Not saying you couldn't make it streetable, but for off-road, yeah. But then again, if you can mimic, let me move this. If you can mimic how these are mounted the same way, like the 52 hanger is a must, but back there, just understand what's actually in the way. You have a body mount that's significantly close to this location. You might be able to get away with possibly cutting the body mount location down and making an offset bracket for that body mount and bringing your shackle rearward, but giving it the right angle. A 7-inch shackle in the factory location, like mine on my 12-inch packs, the shackle is moved forward. So on the 52, it might just be best, because I moved my shackle 3 inches forward, to just leave it outright in the first location and run a long shackle. So that would be in its factory location. That might also be straight up and down, or pitch forward. That might actually be closer. You would have a really okay with a 6-inch shackle in its factory location. So I would just run a longer shackle with 52s and understand that. Don't run a 4-inch shackle. If you're building an off-road truck, why run a 4-inch shackle on the front in the first place? 5, 6, and 7. Don't try your luck, okay? Don't try your luck. But you know what I mean? I know shit. No tricks. There's tricks I haven't told you about, and there's tricks I'm going to be doing that you'll see. Okay? I wouldn't be showing you this for nothing. People don't take these apart because they're scared to, but when you buy a bolt-on lift kit like this pack that would be a 4-inch and lower right now, but it's not, obviously, most don't take it apart. And a lot of, I strongly suggest when you buy leaf springs to take them apart. For simple fact is this pin, when they bolted it together, might not be sitting straight up and down. It could be sitting on an angle. Some people don't understand that, and that's what happens on some people's vehicles. Not gonna say no names, but when they shear their pins off from aftermarket, custom-made $1,000 leaf springs, they're just thrown together quickly, and that pin is not lined up. It's better to manually, instead of having a machine do it, to take them completely apart and I might as well just go out and grab one of them crappy ass pieces and show you, and then show you what I'm talking about the we're gonna go outside real quick. Crossover steering, how they'll lap over if you with the pins, you know what I mean? Obviously you see the difference in the pin. You move that, you want to make sure, it might be easier to do if you had a lifted spring to understand in where your axle placement is. Understand your axle placement. This would be not so good if you're using your factory leaf spring, front leaf spring hangers. When this is talking about front suspension and front suspension only. Okay? We're not talking rear suspension, because the rear suspension functions just a touch different than the front. You don't have wheels that turn side to side, if you understand what I mean. So the clamps that I cut off might be better on a rear suspension, but I just don't prefer them. I prefer bolts holding my leaf springs together from side to side movement. So we're gonna go outside because we're done looking at these. If you have technical notes, you can, on 52 swaps, and you're part of a DIY 4x Talk Tech page off of Facebook, Kurt's group, DIY 4x, you can mostly understand what I mean, so it doesn't need to be explained, you know what I mean, weekly, if you understand what I mean. So 52s, you know what I mean, what I'm showing here, it might be my rambling, but I'm showing you what you can do before you go throwing some 52s under the front of your truck. Because if you want a certain amount of lift plus flex, you might just want to get another actual 48 set of leaf packs that are used, that in good working condition, that aren't bent and twisted, and use some of the parts and add them to your actual 52 packs like you see here. Alright, there's things missing off this pack, so don't go mimicking what's here. Okay? These aren't even done. So, and these will probably go on something completely different. Literally. Something with the Sky's 4.5 drop. Okay? Sky's off-road design 4.5 inch drop front hangers. Just something I want to try. I might try it on a Bronco, literally. I don't know yet. Okay, we're going to get into the clamps. Here we go. Here's one. Okay. These clamps, right here. You can see how I cut them. Thus being cut, I didn't bang on that side, and that's what was happening to my leaves on my truck, and the leaves would sit and shift side to side when you flexed, and leading me to have to bang them together. So how you fix that is these right there. If you're building your own custom leaf packs and doing exactly what I said, is you want these right here. You want some kind of space there. They can be touching, because the 5.5 ones, when I was running these were actually on those leaves. They were touching, and this piece, every now and then I'd put a little bead of grease in there, and this leaf would roll against that when they flexed. That's kind of how a leaf spring's supposed to actually work. Same thing, other than this sleeve right here. This is a bushing sleeve for a leaf spring right there, and it's bigger, and they work. And you can see the movement from yesterday on it. There's even a line. Oh, the other day when I flexed it. You can see it there. Same thing. When I cut them off, I welded the rivet, and there's a bead across that lower leaf right there on both sides. Not that side. This one is just, when I put those on, I just welded the rivet. You can weld a bead like I did the backs right across there. Don't sit and lay that bead of weld hard on that. Just quickly hit it, let it cool, let it quickly hit it again. It doesn't have to be pretty as long as it's, you know what I mean, you can tell the strength on it. If you understand, you can put some heat on leaf springs, but that's how you make knives. You can make knives. Just understand that leaf springs are tough as shit. This is a 56. You can see the arch on it right here. This came out of the rear of my truck, and this is how I build things. If anybody was wondering, this is where you would clamp. This is a 52 or 50. This is a 56. This is the matching one to this, I believe. Right there. No, that's a 52. This is a 52. This would be a clamp leaf spring, the one that I cut the clamps off of. So that one and that one right there would go on the 52 pack that I got in the house. Literally. This one is the matching one right here to that. Right here. See the double holes? That's one that would be on that matching 52. That's the one that's on the pack in the house. This is a 56 one right here. You know what I mean? This one right here is a 52. I can literally tell by just looking at them. And then there's differences on some of the angles. And when you're building leaf springs, also, if you're putting them together, don't just slap them together like the ones I got in the house, because those would probably come apart like 2 or 3 times. You clean this off with, you can do it with a grinder, you know what I mean? This stuff just is light surface rust. Clean that all off. You can paint individual leaves on it, anti-friction pads. I don't have any literally sitting here. I got one out right now that's sitting there with it right there. There's one right there, anti-friction pads on it. You can buy them. Multiple different places sell them if you want to put anti-friction pads on them. I haven't noticed any difference in them being on there, other than stuff like this happens, and it doesn't and then you can see that these will jump. They'll catch and jump. There's this. You see how it rubbed right in there in that spot? That's from them sliding the way they're supposed to function. So I remove them all together and let them just free skid on them. See, they just pop right off. These will just pop right back on. There's kits that you can get that you can literally do that. This is a rough country one. They use doubles on them. This right here is a 52, so that would be a factory. But 56s obviously didn't have those on them. You know what I mean? So, but these double holes, you know what I mean? I could put them on it, but I haven't seen a difference running them on or off. I don't think... Let's turn you off. I don't think that 5.5 has any on it. We'll just look real quick. I don't believe that it's got one, and that's a 52 anyway, like you just seen. It has these end ones, which really don't make a damn difference when you do it. You can put anti-friction pads in it. There's even other tricks you can do. There's spacers, I believe, plastic spacers you can put in between each individual leaf, and then your anti-frictions too, but you kind of would want them touching together, if you understand that. And even when you're putting leaf springs together, they can lap like this, and you can always cut them down and you know what I mean, with a grinder how you want them. So I never did it. I just left them alone because this was the main eye right there. And that's kind of like a military wrap, even though it sticks out. Nobody's really looking at it. The back right there, you know what I mean? If it pushed down really hard, I wanted that kind of spacing. Because then instead of it busting a leaf, I would rather have it bend there than snap a leaf. That's why the sole purpose is of the way it is built. Other than, like I said, it would look a little bit different. This leaf right here, yeah, this one right here is supposed to be the. Actually, no. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It was a 7-leaf pack. This is 6-leaf pack. It's just missing a leaf off of this. Okay, like I said, you can go look at the video of the whole video of my truck start to finish. I got flexing pictures on there when I said this is when it performed, I believe, in those words. And this is what was actually under the truck when it was flexing on the counterweight the first time. The reason why I'm not running these as well as they worked is Kurt knows. I showed him this. This would be the driver leaf, and I left this one together for sole purpose because he explained this in the Saturday night thing. I can fix this simple. But then again, you know what I mean, I wanted more lift anyway. So if we could zero in, you see that space? It's not supposed to be that way, and the bushings wouldn't hold in place. And this is another reason why you don't want to run, let me back up. It's another reason why that space between there. Push-pull steering. You try to flex a truck with push-pull steering on it, like I did, and put the whole steering to its maximum strength capability, it will bend shit. And literally, it was acting like a traction aid. Flexed so much that it shoved all the bushings out of there, and that's one of the reasons why the 8-inch lift went on that I built. Still being used. But the main, that's off the shackle side. The main eye stayed together. So when I flexed that truck on the stump with the push-pull steering on it, it would literally steer the wheel that way, and you had no control over the steering wheel at all. And because I put force into it, it put the whole load of the truck and was steering the axle at whatever way it wanted to, and bent this. I can pound that down, heat it up and pound it down, even put it in a hydraulic press and push it back down, and it would fix it. These are going to become wall ornaments or be a patent to something a business that I might create when I have the funding to do it. Suspension company. And then offer kits from multiple different people with their parts.